This video will cover some of the basics of jump. First, let's look at variable types. We have three: continuous, ordinal, and nominal. These are nominal, these are continuous. Continuous variables are just numbers, and ordinal and nominal are just categories, with ordinal having some sort of a natural ordering or rank to them. Now we can create a column by double-clicking over here. We can delete a column by just right-clicking and clicking delete columns. We can also add a column by going new column up there in the column properties. So for example, when we do this, we can create a formula. So let's say years of experience, and then let's do comparison less than or equal to 10. So we'll have less than or greater than that. Apply. So now we have a binary variable over here, where 1 is if that was true, 0 is if that was false. Another way to do this is to select, right-click, and go to column info. And then we can change things about it here. We can also rename it. So say low experience. That's one. And it gives it a name. Now to make plots, we can go analyze. First we'll do a histogram, so we do distribution, and let's say do salary. That'll give us this. We can make it horizontal. These here give us the quantiles or percentiles. Here's our mean and standard deviation, standard things we want to know. We can also do axis settings and set the maximum and minimum and change the increments or bin size. So I can set that, click OK, makes it too spiky. We can then go to display options. No, we want to go to histogram options, I think. Oh, it's here somewhere. Hold on a second, I remembered this a minute ago. You go to, there's another way to make it, we go to histogram options and set bin width. Again, we can change that. Okay. So now we've done that. Then there's another way, which you may have to do in your homework. We can do distribution, histogram, and if you do by, that'll separate it up into two categories. Now we can do stack. That'll make it nice like this. Also notice that if I click on a bin, it'll highlight everything that is in that bin. And if I click on rows of data, we'll see pieces of the bins highlighted. Now, comparing these visually is difficult because they're on a different scale, but we can go here and we can hit Control and click Uniform Scaling. I think that did it already. Yeah, if you hold Control and click Uniform Scaling on each of them, they will now be matched to the same scale. Now we can also plot, if we do by two things, so by low experience, and say, is the doctor certified? And then do, let's just do salary again. Then we'll get stack. Then we'll get 4. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And we can group by multiple ways this way. Also, we can change the variable type since this is not numeric. Shouldn't be. So now there's another type of plot we can make. We can do a bivariate plot, or we have a y and an x, and we want to plot them against each other. So if you have two continuous variables, you'll get a scatter plot. That's like this. Okay. And if you have two discrete variables, you'll get a mosaic plot. Here you've got your little chunks. And again, for these things, we can also do by. For example, we take this, and let's group them by experience, and now it'll make two separate mosaic plots. Another bivariate plot we have is this, a one-way, where we have a discrete variable down here. Let's do this one. And a continuous variable here. And that makes these little dots, dot plots. But we can turn that into box and whisker plot by doing quantiles. Then we can also do some other things here. Display options, that's our friend. We can plot the means of each individual one. Those are the green lines. The gray one is the mean for everything if it were clumped together. And we can also do histograms, so we can compare the shape of our data in the two groups. We can also make the points jittered, so we can get an idea of how many points there are at each step here, because if we put them all together, they'll overlap too much. We can also make not x-axis proportional. If we have x-axis proportional, this little dash here will be moved over this way or this way, depending on which category has more things in it. Another thing we can do is a data filter, or we can do select rows by, so row selection, select where, that's what we do, and we can say, well, select everything where the rank is equal to 1. Now I click OK. So now all those rows are selected. I can then label them. I can color them. So let's make those all this. What is color? Is this sort of like? Yeah, let's make them blue. I like blue. And then we'll go markers, and we can make them a shape. Now on these plots over here, all of those points now show up like this. Then we can say, oh, if we do row selection. Now if I invert selection, it'll select everything else. Now let's make those red squares, and okay, so now they show up like that. The other ones show up as blue circles. And if I don't want them used in the data analysis, I can exclude them, so now they're not used in computations, and then I can hide them. If I hide them, they don't show up. If I exclude them, they're not used in any computations about the data. So that's the basics, pretty much what you need to know right now. I may make future videos if that'll help and you need to learn to do slightly more complex things.